Hi folks, I'm Chris Dorr. I'm the director here at Ohio Gun Owners, and in this short video, I'm going to go over where your two candidates stand for Congressional District 9 in this upcoming general election. There is a lot on the line right now, and if you are pro-gun and pro-Second Amendment and pro-family, pro-closed borders, don't like having your vote watered down by criminal aliens, folks, you're going to want to watch this video. This district is very important because it's very likely that whoever wins this election, that party is going to be in control of the United States House of Representatives. And it's been under recent Democrat control. We all know that Joe Biden has used the presidency and Chuck Schumer has used the U.S. Senate as a launching point for the radical left's gun control attacks. And this district right here, Ohio Congressional District 9, is one of the top swing districts in the entire country. And that's why we're going to break down both of these candidates. I'm going to first talk about the Democrat incumbent. I'll put an I right there on the whiteboard so you guys can check it out. She's the incumbent. She's running for re-election, and she's got votes, which is why we're going to take a look at her first. So let's just jump into it. There's a saying in life, it's basic and it's true, that you can tell a lot about a man or woman by who their friends are. That is definitely the case when it comes to politicians and the organizations that endorse them. Marcy Kaptur is endorsed by Michael Bloomberg and his gun control organizations. Michael Bloomberg is the godfather of gun control in America. He is the financier of the gun control movement. And every year he writes checks for millions and millions, up to $100 million to fund the gun control organizations in their push to pass gun control at the federal and state levels. So Marcy Kaptur, this is who we're talking about here, is endorsed by this group, Bloomberg's gun control organizations. Let's jump from that, though. Let's jump right into the policy because she's got a lot of bad votes. Marcy Kaptur voted yes on banning AR-15s. The AR-15 is America's rifle. It's what millions and millions of Americans own to defend themselves and their loved ones against violent criminals and the threat of tyranny. If you look back at the 20th century alone, governments worldwide murdered over 100 million innocent of their own citizens. Our founding fathers knew, and tyranny isn't a new development. Our founding fathers knew that tyrants 1,000 years ago and tyrants 1,000 years from now are going to try to commit heinous acts of violence against their people. That's why they codified the Second Amendment in the Bill of Rights. And that's why Marcy Kaptur voted yes on banning AR-15s. She knows all of these things. She supports the communist takeover of America. She also voted to ban 30-round magazines. That's ridiculous. We call them standard capacity magazines. But again, guns, the Second Amendment wasn't codified in the Bill of Rights as a guarantee to be able to hunt deer. No matter how many times Joe Biden goes up on television, or Kamala Harris, or any one of these radical left Democrat gun control proponents, that's not what it's about. It's a check and balance on tyrannical government. That's why Marcy Kaptur, again, voted yes on banning 30-round magazines. She voted no on national reciprocity. This one's a little bit more simple, but national reciprocity, it's an easy idea. If you have a concealed handgun license in one state, like Ohio, that license should be able to be used in another state. Very basic and common sense, but she voted no on that. She also voted to fund red flag gun confiscation laws to be passed in all of the states. Here's what red flag laws do. They allow anybody to petition a court or a judge to have your guns taken away from you without you ever being charged, tried, or convicted of a crime. Total destruction of due process rights for gun owners. She voted to send money to the states to try to bribe them into passing their own red flag laws. And of course, she supports a national federal red flag gun confiscation law as well. That's Marcy Kaptur. She supports all of these things. She's got the voting history to prove it too. All of these bills can be looked up very easily, very quickly on Congress's website. She also voted for universal gun registration. Gun registration, where the state assembles a database of guns and gun owners, is the foundation and cornerstone of gun confiscation. It used to be that people who put these things together were thought of as conspiratorial. Now all you have to do is turn on your television and you'll see Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and even Beto O'Rourke back in the day when they used to have Democrat primaries in order to select the Democrat nominee for president, he stood there right there and said it. Hell yes, we're going to take your guns, your AR-15s. That whole gun confiscation dystopian ideal is predicated on knowing who owns what guns. That's what universal gun registration is about. And that's why Marcy Kaptur voted for it. You take all of these things together here, all right? Marcy Kaptur has totally earned every bit of a total F grade. She's definitely earned it. She's given the great big F to gun owners as a congresswoman from Ohio. So I could sit here and talk about probably 25 other gun control bills that she has passed, but if you're a pro-gun union worker or a pro-gun independent who's sitting here and guns is one of your big issues, I want you to know this information because there's no part about Marcy Kaptur that is moderate. She's a hardcore radical left activist, and she works diligently. Most of these bills, she is a co-sponsor of them. She helped author this legislation. She's no moderate. She's an activist, and she's hardcore in support of destroying your Second Amendment freedoms. But let's not talk about Marcy this whole time. Let's switch over and talk about this guy, Derek Merrin. Derek Merrin, if you've been involved in the fight for gun rights in Ohio for any amount of time, he's a well-known, established commodity in the gun rights movement. He is a co-sponsor or joint sponsor on numerous gun rights bills. He voted yes. I can underline these right down here. He voted yes on stand your ground law. He voted yes on constitutional carry. These are non-controversial pieces of beautiful pro-gun bills, quite frankly. Constitutional carry, it simply gets government out of the rights regulation business and restores the ability for people to carry a firearm to defend themselves and their families without begging government permission. It's on the books in 29 different states. Derek Merrin voted for that as a state representative in the Ohio General Assembly. And that's what we really like about Derek Merrin. A lot of people, a lot of Republicans, they campaign at election time, say, I'm going to be this, that, and a bag of chips. But Derek Merrin has a years-long record of doing exactly that in the Ohio General Assembly. Here's one I'm going to circle right out of the gate. Derek Merrin filled out and returned his 2024 Ohio Gun Owners Candidate Questionnaire to us, 100% pro-gun. I think he was the first congressional candidate to do it. And that's very good because you want, especially DC is a swamp, right? It's all circling around this vortex in the middle. And usually when legislators get to Washington, D.C., they get sucked to the middle to become worse and worse. Very rarely does a politician go to Washington, D.C. and come back more conservative than they were, okay? So that's why it's very important for organizations like ours to get Derek Merrin on the record on his congressional survey, and we did. He filled it out 100% pro-gun, and that's good news because he promised to vote no on universal gun registration. Remember, she voted yes for it over here. He promised to vote no on national red flag gun confiscation. He promised to vote no on banning assault weapons and AR-15s. He promised to vote yes on pro-gun legislation to take back some ground that's been given up, and vote yes on national reciprocity. The even better part about all this, not only did he go on record, but again, he's got a record as a state legislator of remaining firm and voting the right way and co-sponsoring all of this stuff. Okay? So that is why I'm going to give Derek right now an A rating. He's absolutely earned it, both as a sitting state representative and on his 2024 Ohio Gun Owners Congressional Federal Survey. So again, if you're a pro-gun union worker or pro-gun independent and you're being told by your party bosses or your union bosses that you got to go with Marcy, I wanted you guys to keep this stuff in mind. There's no part about Marcy that's moderate. And let's get down to the very brass tacks here. The Second Amendment is the one freedom that protects all of your others. And if we don't have an intact Second Amendment, we all become serfs for the government very quickly, and then we don't even have jobs at some point down the road. Definitely that would affect your kids and grandkids big time if we ever let this gun control get totally passed into law. So wanted you guys to have this information. If you guys see Marcy Kaptur out there on the campaign trail, honestly, what I would just ask her is, what the heck are you doing? This is Ohio. This is America. This kind of crap, this kind of tyranny doesn't go around here. This stuff belongs in 1940s Germany or Italy or Japan. Maybe you could go over to the sissy Brits in England today and kind of pass this kind of garbage, but this is Ohio, okay? So tell her, try this crap somewhere else. It doesn't fly. If you see Derek Merrin on the campaign trail, you can thank him for years of faithful service when it comes to the Second Amendment, years of fighting back against the left, stepping up to that plate and swinging back for us gun owners. That's fantastic. All right. So if you see him, you guys can pass that along to him. Last, but I guess two more things real quick. Please share this video with all of your pro-gun friends, family, loved ones, neighbors, co-workers, church members, anybody you know that's in Congressional District 9 up there. They need to know this information. Please share it with them so they know the difference between Marcy Kaptur and Derek Merrin. Last but not least, okay, here's the end of it. Round up all of those friends on November 5th. Head down to your polls. Don't take no for an answer from them. Head down to the polls. There's so much at stake. And vote pro-gun.